It's Travis at Three Corners Farm. Today we're going to talk about my irrigation setup I have on the big garden. Before we get to that, make sure you like this video and hit the notification bell so anytime either I or Amy upload a new video, you will get notification that they're ready for you to view. Now with my irrigation system, I'm using a low pressure system using mini spinners, not micro spinners, but mini spinners. And the mini spinners are what a lot of the orchards in our area use, but they have a 1/2 inch thread on them. They come in different colors. This is red. I believe it does like 35-foot diameter. The ones I like to use are the yellow ones, which are roughly 30 feet in diameter. But this is irrigation season, so they ran out at the supply store, and the other supply store does irrigation doesn't have this style. So I'll just wait. I used some red and blue ones that they had just to get me by. It just means they have a little farther distance and they get a little more over spray than was aiming for. But I don't put no risers on them. These are just sleds that you can get at any hardware store with the standard male and female threaded hose ends. And by not having a riser going up with our winds here in the gorge, the water goes where I want it. The higher I get these up off the ground, the farther away the wind will blow it, so my rows that are on the west side are going to be missing getting irrigated on the days that we're getting our 20-25 mile an hour winds, which here in the summertime is quite often. So I keep it really low, and so far it's been working out real well. And to connect these, I'm using a black 1/2 inch pipe. So my main line coming from the irrigation spigot's 3/4 inch black poly. And then off of that, I'm running these 100-foot rolls of 1/2 inch black poly. And yeah, I could have bought a bigger roll, but the 100-foot rolls work nice because I can just do one set at a time, because I'm usually not planting more than 4 rows at a time. So this just makes it easier for me to build it as I'm going versus trying to get it all done at once. And I don't have to measure anything because I know these are 100 feet long. And to connect them, they're using the fittings now. The ones that we're using, they actually have a little screw piece that you screw down and it locks it into the hose. And this is a male and female that I put on each side, which then I connect to my sleds with my sprinkler on them. And they're all spaced about 12.5 feet, and I get 6 of these per 100-foot row. And each one of these sets will do 4 of my rows at a time. So in my 8-foot block of 100-foot rows, I have 2 of these lines running. And this one here is a manual timer I use for the rows I'm not actually have anything growing in, just because I don't need them to be watered every day. But I have electric ones, self-timered ones running, so that I can set the time for, say, my lettuces to go 2 or 3 times a day when it gets into upper 90s. If not, then my other rows I have stuff planned where I don't need to water it as much. So I try to keep it planted a certain way so I can run my irrigation. And the way this is set up is so if the property owner is running his irrigation for his hay field and I lose some pressure, I can actually stagger my whole system and still get everything watered the way I needed it. If I hooked it all up once and had one timer, if he sucked up too much of the water, then I would be out of water. So having each one of these 100-foot lines on their own set timer will save me in the summertime when he starts running his water for his hay fields, which is probably be in a few weeks. And what I do from that 3/4 inch main line is I actually just they have these little T's that has a female connector. I connect it with the male connector here, and then usually I have a little piece of hose about that much, and then I put another male, and then I hook up my timers, and then I run it out to each one of my sleds, and then they all hooked up. And then I anchor my ends. I actually just have little pieces of rebar that I put on one end and anchor it, so when the water kicks on it wants to shrink, and it'll hold it in place a little better. Other than that, I've kept it pretty simple, and that way I can always just move along. And then if I decide I'm not going to be, say, watering a block of 4 anymore, I can actually just take that whole line and move it to the next block if I'm going to let one rest for a few months. And that's the kind of the nice thing about this lightweight system. It doesn't take a lot of water, and I'm able to monitor a little bit better. And hopefully you have a good day, and I'll just see you later. Bye.